Hello, Virgo North Node. This is Samara, your feminist alchemist. Welcome to your reading for the full moon in October, leading into the next moon cycle, so the new moon in November. So we're talking, let's say, I think it's tomorrow's full moon or the day after tomorrow, for me, the day that I'm reading, October 19th or 20th, I believe, until November 3rd. So I usually read for the new moon, but I'm have been traveling this month, so I'm running a bit late. So I figured let's make it timely, and I'll give you a full moon reading, Virgo North Node. So if this is your first time at my channel, I'm actually not in my regular space. I'm kind of in a makeshift area for my readings this month. This is a general reading, so the messages may not resonate with everybody. Take what strikes a chord with you and let the rest float away on a cloud of fairy dust for whoever else in your Virgo North Node collective may need those messages at this time. If you are feeling this reading, give it a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when I upload, which is normally at the beginning of the new moon, or at the new moon cycle. So, what is the North Node? I sum it up as a mathematical point in your birth chart that signifies your source of soul expansion in this lifetime. So it tells you where your growth opportunities lie, and accepting this calling can help you discover soul fulfillment that's well beyond what you've imagined for yourself. So I do have a short video that covers the general meaning of the North Node, as I've been guided to understand it. Plus, you can check out the specifics of your North Node sign, explained in depth by YouTube astrologer Astro Finesse. Both links have been posted in the description below. There's also an extended reading linked below that's called Everyday Alchemy and Practical Magic, and it's a 20-minute extended approximately, during which time I consult the divine about tools you can use to support you on your North Node journey. At this point, it will be for the next 2 weeks. So we'll look at crystals, herbs, essential oils, colors, and more. I also channel affirmations that you could use as personal mantras for the month, or journaling prompts, however your spirit feels so inclined. So, I will start your reading by consulting the Path of the Soul deck by Cheryl Lee Harnish. And with this deck, I look into the universal energies, so high frequency energies that are at play for you at the full moon and the 2 weeks following. Virgo North Node. Full moon for Virgo North Node, please. If you need to fast forward, feel free. Okay. So we have, what is this one called? Sorry, I don't have all of these memorized. This card is Encoded, Bull Guide, Footprints, and 14, rebirth. Yeah. My apologies if it's a little dark. It's still daytime where I am, but it's a gloomy day. So if it gets really dark, I will turn on the upper light, but I am not a big fan of artificial light. So I'm seeing upgrades and activations of your DNA. And the strength and resilience to move through the challenges that are presented to you at this time. In footprints, I see that you're, and in rebirth, I'm feeling like these really are working very closely together, because the rebirthing is actually, it's almost a rebirthing of something that's been dormant in your DNA. Because in the footprints card, I'm seeing an ancestral calling, community calling, knowledge that's deeply encoded in the collective. So I'm feeling these are working together generally as a major upgrade for you, that you're going to be working hard to integrate on a spiritual and an emotional level, like in all of your etheric bodies. And thankfully, they're also sending you a stream of resilience so that you may integrate these more fully and with less strain on your part, discomfort. But I am getting the feeling that there's going to be discomfort. There's going to be discomfort. Change is often that. Rebirth is often that. And prompting me to mention that, oh my goodness, I gotta stop this. Sorry, the energy got intense for a moment. I got very discombobulated, so I had to stop for a moment and just take a breath. Yeah, they wanted me to remind you that, like, even the birth process for a child, who supposedly comes in with, fresh and new shiny soul. Also, the birth is not a process that does not have, for neither the child nor the mother, it's not a process without its pains and discomforts, and requires effort. So that's what they want you to know about that. So I'm going to check the 5D energies now. So 5D energy in this case is me referring to what's present in your intuition, kind of what your soul is seeking in terms of expansion at the moment, in terms of integrating these higher energies. So they may show up as synchronicities in your life, or as like naggings, inner naggings of the soul. They may show up in your dreams. Okay. Virgo North Node. Take that one. So for this, for the 5D energy, I'm using the Sacred Geometry Activations by Lon, mixed with another deck by Lon, Sacred Geometry of Relationships. So I have them all mixed together into one big stack. Oh, and I already have a lot moving through me for you, Virgo. A lot of buzzing in my throat chakra. So, okay, we have joy and the 6th chakra. So we have, let me just put these all like this first, and I'll show them to you as I put them down. So we have 3rd chakra, which is your solar plexus, awareness, transparency, strength, transformation, and then together we have the 6th chakra, which is your 3rd eye, and joy. So I'm getting from this that the changes that you're undergoing require a lot of resilience on your part, confidence, knowing that everything is going to turn out okay, regardless of the ups and downs of it all. This is why the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus, it's also a change in your identity. Like you may come in with transformation and 3rd chakra together, combined with the strength card. Oh, sorry, not the strength card. It's bull spirit, but it signifies strength. All that together is telling me that you have there's strength here. So that's why I said it. You have a significant transformation happening in your identity, how you identify yourself in the world. And the awareness is a prompting from your soul just to recognize that this change is happening and that this change is necessary. Getting in transparency, it's almost feeling like authenticity to me. In that you see these areas for transformation clearly. I'm getting that, yeah, there's a need for a lot of strength. I'm just going to put this on this side. There's a need for a lot of resilience on your part and willingness to see things through, which is also in the seat of your will is also in the solar plexus chakra. So you may be also going through a change that has to do with your willpower. I'm seeing some of you are wrestling with like an addiction, and it could be an addiction to a substance. It could also be addiction to food. It could be an addiction to drama. But there's something that you have within your power of will to change. And it can be, it may be something that you've been doing so long that you also kind of associate part of your personality with it. So for example, if you're a smoker and you started smoking, like your reasons for starting smoking was to be cool, or certain professions, kind of go along with smoking. Your colleagues smoked, your mentor smoked. It's in that realm of energy and feeling. But definitely whatever is being released, it's part of how you identify yourself. And that's why this 6th chakra energy is really coming in, and with joy, because your higher self is making you aware, or opening your awareness to, like, this is something you do automatically, and it doesn't necessarily bring you any happiness. You may be actually masking something that's not joy underneath it, and they want you to connect. They're pulling you to connect more with, well, what is it that you're satisfying with this behavior or this habit that is just masking what you really want and what would really bring you joy. And possibly I'm getting the vibe that you don't necessarily, you've gone so long without it that you almost forget that you even want it. Part of it is actually also just a change that is kind of predestined with this activating and upgrading of your DNA. And the collective coming in, the footprints coming in. I'm getting that you're also recognizing, like, patterns that just run through your family, and they're not necessarily bringing you happiness. It's just how you've always done things. And okay, so they say someone is, trying to come to terms with their sexuality and is thinking of coming out. And there's others of you who are choosing to take another path than what you've been taught in your family. I'm going to grab onto a little crystal to help me calm my nervous system, because I actually feel a lot of heaviness in this, like an identity crisis that's kind of shaking the foundations of who you believe yourself to be, which is why there's two, the bull guide is coming down as strength, which is also like a harmonizing of all the different parts of yourself. But in this case, I really feel like it's strength, resilience, to see something through to the end, to see this rebirth through. So you are in the process of rebirthing. And the way I'm feeling right now is that it's a very disorienting process for you. And for some of you, it's just downright painful. I'm going to go to the next set of cards. I'm using the Tarot of the Divine, and I'm just using the majors, which is why the deck is so tiny. I'm going down to the 3D energy, and I want to see what major events, or what events are happening in your life that are reflecting the experiences, or bringing about the experiences that you need to have for your soul growth. These are the opportunities in front of you right now for taking a higher path, raising your vibration by the decisions and the actions that you take in these situations. So let's see what is present in Virgo North Node's 3D reality at the moment. Oops. Sorry about that. I'm not in my normal settings, as I said, so just in a makeshift situation. Which is all good. The energy is always the same. Energy is here regardless. So we had the Hierophant that I just put down. We have the Tower in reverse. Ooh, yeah. We have Justice. And the Star in reverse. Let me see if there's another card that wants to come out, because I had a feeling. Yeah, there we go. I thought there was. And the Magician in reverse. That is interesting. Okay, so what I'm seeing is some type of... Ooh. I still see the identity crisis, this time like in conjunction with a collective that you're a part of. Family, or a group of people that kind of feels like family. And I'm getting someone with old wisdom is in your vicinity. So I'm getting that some of you that will also feel like worn out by that situation, whatever this collective is that you're in. It could be that you feel like your boundaries are being constantly crossed. And you're not necessarily honest about your boundaries as well, which may be one of the reasons that you tend to whatever behavior it is that you attach your ego to in the solar plexus chakra. In the Tower in reverse, I feel like you know that there's a certain change coming, a dynamic change coming, and you're resisting it. But at the same time, I'm seeing like instead of the people falling, they're floating. So you're resisting it, but it's not like it's necessarily a bad thing at the moment. It seems like it's better as a slow and gradual change, because you are better able to orient yourself and tap into your strength and resources available to you. I'm getting that you contemplate a lot about rocking the boat in this particular situation. And because you don't want to rock the boat necessarily, you end up feeling drained, or you don't speak your truth in many situations. So I'm getting conflict avoidance from this card at the expense of you finding or being able to really be comfortable and happy in the situation. And so some of these coping mechanisms that you have are rooted in you not expressing your truth and you not having clear boundaries with people. Justice, upright, telling me the reason why. I kind of already started talking about it, but there's something that it's like you're feeling that something is unfair towards you. There's a feeling of injustice. there's a question of a balance between giving and receiving, and what's fair and what you feel is your fair share, or how you should be treated in the situation. And I'm getting that for some of you, there is a challenge with your temper in those situations where you feel that you've been being treated unfairly. And they're saying to me that, when you don't have clearly defined boundaries with people, then you end up, they end up testing their limits, right? To see what's okay with you. And it doesn't make them a bad person necessarily. You'll find that there are people out there who will definitely respect your boundaries, but they need to know what they are. And so in this quest for fairness, there is also an energy of what is the role that you're playing in these situations where you feel that they're unfair towards you. And it could be a hard place to look as well, because there are definitely situations where we have been treated unfairly. We have people who, think of us in a certain way that so they're giving themselves permission to, use, abuse, or treat us as not on their level. However, they're saying to watch the victim mentality. There is always a way to empower yourself in the situation, even when it seems like there isn't. Even it may only be, tiny piece of empowerment, a place that you can find to empower yourself. But once you take even the littlest millimeter fraction of energy that you can be sovereign in and use in the way that you want to use for your highest outcome, then the universe will respond, and vibrationally other people respond subconsciously. So that's important. So you have some type of situation where that you establishing the balance is important. I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting really dark. Let me see. I forgot I closed these. I forgot to open the drapes. So, better. So we have the star. Yeah, we're good now. We have the star in reverse and the magician in reverse. So I have a getting the feeling that you feel like you're being held back from your potential. Situations in which you feel that you're being held back from your potential, and that you could make and do and be more if certain obstacles, situations, people were not in your way. I'm going to go right to the clarifying, because I think that encompasses these situations that that most of you may be facing at this time. So I'm going to pull from the Light Seers Tarot now. I'm going to use the full deck, and I'm asking the Divine and all the guides present for this reading, how and what we can do to navigate this, let's call it lower vibrational situation, or the obstacles, the challenges that you're facing in your life, how can you navigate them to raise the frequency? How do you want to receive this? It's all okay. Yeah. Okay, these three came out together. How? Four of Cups, Two of Cups, card. Okay, this is, I'm really digging this for you, Virgo. Oh, sorry. More cards. More cards. There we go. Chariot in reverse. This is a popular card right now. That's in reverse specifically. So we have the Hangman in reverse. So they're saying that they want you to be willing to stand out from the crowd. But not in a way that alienates you. So this seems to be a theme of with the situations where your boundaries are not clear, that we end up fighting against like other people's energy. As opposed to already keeping them at a distance because they know like where you stand. So they're showing me a lot of this light here, and they're expressing it to me as the solar plexus chakra. So they're saying like standing out, but not because, you know, you have a crappy disposition or a bad temper. Oh, sorry, not crappy disposition, crappy attitude. You know, we can get bitter when people keep pushing beyond. And the thing is, as a Virgo North Node, people may like start coming to you for advice and you don't necessarily feel like giving it. Like, you're not necessarily accepting that role. And they're saying you already do stand out from the crowd for positive reasons. And part of the reason that people overstep your boundaries is because you have this light, right? But because you're also not necessarily aware from it, you don't necessarily understand why people want so much from you or seem to like want to feed off you in some way. But it's because, you know, you have this spark that is attractive. Specifically kind of for nurturing, I'm going to say, and giving advice to people. Okay, I'm looking into these cards here. The World, the Ten of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse as well. You have to let bygones be bygones with some people who hurt you but didn't necessarily mean to, because there's some blockage to your happiness and soul fulfillment. And to some of your abundance, financial and otherwise. So they're saying that like you need to let go of some of the blame, because some of the blame is, well, it's on you. I'm sorry to say, and I'm sorry to say it that bluntly, but it's because you're not transparent, right, with what is okay with you and what's not. So people can't respect your boundaries if they don't know what they are. And they want you to end that cycle of, free yourself from victimhood and release past disappointments. And I'm getting that actually from the Queen of Pentacles in reverse as well, is that you have some stickiness around somebody who screwed with your money in some way. So either they borrowed and never paid it back and you never asked for it back, or not directly, or maybe you did and they still didn't give it to you, or they stole from you, or they didn't give you your fair share. So I'm getting you need to forgive withholding in the financial and the emotional realm. And not to say that you're going to ever get what you want from that person in terms of them being sorry or actually giving you those things that they're supposed to give you, but forgiving them allows you to enter a new cycle. And learn from that you need to state what it is, like what your expectations are and how you're going to be treated, and when you're going, and only give when you want to give and not because you feel obligated to give. 4 of Cups and 2 of Cups in the upright coming under the Justice card. 4 plus 2 equals 6. And I'm getting some, what numbers are these cards? Transformation was 6. It's 42. 4 plus 2 is 6. So 4 of Cups in the upright, they're like, mourn, but don't do it too long. You need to show some gratitude for some of the people who actually shift your focus from the people who've disappointed you or who treat you how you don't want to be treated, and focus on the people who, value you in the way that you would like to be valued. And on top of that, make sure that you're valuing yourself in the way you want to be valued. You have to give it to yourself first. So the balance in this case with the Justice card and the Transformation is that you are already vibrating a certain amount of self-love, dignity, and respect for your own boundaries, third chakra, whatever it is that you're doing to yourself to mask the fact that you are not feeling on the up and up, or not feeling appreciated and respected the way you want. You have to be doing that for yourself so that it can be mirrored back to you in the world. And of course, at the end there, you also have the Strength card again. So you have the strength. You have 3 representations of strength in this thread. This is all about being the lion and the lamb at the same time. So knowing that you can be strong and vulnerable at the same time. And this is, once again, all about establishing those boundaries and being soft enough with yourself to say, yes, I want whatever, the joy, the pleasure, the love, the affection, whatever it is that you're seeking, that you are not, that the lion is protecting the lamb from being, slaughtered in this case. Sorry, that's the word that came to mind. But yes, the lion is protecting the lamb, but you need to know when to use the lion and when to use the lamb. So it's finding a balance within yourself as well, relating to the Justice card. I could have put it down there as well, but they wanted it here. And the Chariot in reverse, in this case, to me, is like slowing down and clarifying what it is you really want to experience in your relationships, whether it's work, play, romance, or family. What is it that you really want to experience? And, stopping to throw out some of the baggage that you're carrying because it's making your load heavy. You want me to say something with the ancestors and the collective in this? Yeah, they're saying that your gifts will be sweeter and this will turn like upright. You'll hit the ground running once you release some of this baggage and only have joy in your backpack. You need joy in your chariot and nothing else. They don't want anybody else. They don't want anything else. And I'm seeing that for a lot of you, the people and the situations that you need to clear up are very, they could be very significant relationships in your life. So some of you may be ending like long-term relationships, committed relationships, friendships, companies you've worked with for a long time, but it's definitely also a relationship that that's come to be housed in your solar plexus chakra as part of your identity. So that's why I see it as, maybe you always belong to a friend group, like they're showing me like a clique in high school. You always hung out with the cool girls and, but the cool girls, they make fun of you behind your back. They always ask you for money. They borrow your clothes and never bring them back. They date your old boyfriend, things like this. But the thought of going through life, not a part of that group, without the safety of the identity at that group is, jarring for you, because who will you be then, if not, the cool girl? That's just a general, example. Draw your parallels however you like. I use the examples that they give me. I'm going to check out the Ancestral Messages, this rebirth and upgrades. Ooh, I feel for you, Virgo North Node, I really do. So, this month I'm checking into Ancestral Messages. Last month I did Akashic Records. And is that a spell, or do I need all of these? They want one and the others are a spell. Page of Clubs. Abiina, fire was born. Sudden, frightening occurrences. No brave person. Okay. Interesting. I don't want to butcher the names on these cards. This is actually the first time I'm using it for readings. So I'm only now getting to know it, but my guides really wanted this deck to be used this month. So this is key 18, the moon. Oyeku, when the moon is not full, the stars shine more brightly. I am apologizing in advance to anyone who practices these spiritual traditions that are embodied in these cards. This is Ashotele by Akamara Tarot. Beautiful deck. And I don't know all of the pronunciations yet. As I said, my guides just wanted me to use it, and I took it out of the box for It's probably the third or fourth time that I even kind of played around with them when they said that they want it for the North Node readings. Key 0 is the Fool. Ashe-o. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. That's a popular card in readings today as well. Okay. On key 7, you got the Chariot again, Idagba. The chameleon looks in all directions before moving. Okay. I'll sink in for a bit. Let's see what they want me to relay to you. Yeah, so they're saying it's okay if you feel completely unsure of how to move, or if you're scared of this transformation. They acknowledge that it is a challenging one for you. And they're saying like you possibly feel like you don't know if you'll recognize yourself. You don't necessarily recognize yourself right now. There's a lot of this feeling of what's been awakened in you doesn't seem to fit into your life at the moment, or into your image of yourself. And they say, don't beat yourself up about that in any way. It's completely normal, and they want you to just breathe and take things as they come, and remember that you're not alone in the process either. With the Moon card for this full moon reading, when the moon is not full, the stars shine more brightly. So this is saying to me, when you are looking at your shadow aspects, or the aspects that you've been avoiding looking at, the aspects of your third chakra that have built up your identity but don't necessarily resonate with your authentic or higher self. When you start to dim those aspects of yourself that you kind of you've been putting on for other people, that's when you're going to start to really see your strength and your true talents, and how many blessings you really have, and how many gifts you really have to offer yourself first, and then offer the world, if and when you so choose to, and in the capacity that you want to choose it in, that you want to give it in. Because I'm getting a lot of energy that many of you are people pleasers, or give when you don't want to give, and that sets a bad balance in your spirit, right? Because you're tying people to a karmic debt with you, or to a debt with you without their knowledge or consent. And this is what they're saying to me. I've never thought about this or intellectualized about it, but they're saying to me that there is a weight that comes with indebting people against their will, or without their knowledge. Some people are somehow indebted, and they full well know what they did, and they full well knew that they were overstepping, and they did it anyway because they knew you wouldn't say otherwise. But there are also people that, you are placing blame on, and they're getting, hell and fury. What was it? Fury and hellfire from you, or the cold shoulder, because they overstepped a boundary with you, but they didn't even know. And they want you to, dim out those parts of yourself that aren't working for you, that are not getting the reactions you want in the world, so that you can see like the underlying sparkle that you can cultivate. And they're reminding me that they don't expect it to be easy for you. And in the addiction scenario, stepping away back from your addiction will show the real reasons why you have those issues or that particular habit that doesn't serve you. Key 0, the Fool card. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. This is very deep, but inner knowing that's unshakable by other people. And this is part of your boundary setting as well. This is part of like knowing yourself so well that saying no was just like, no, I don't want to. And not because I don't like you or I'm offended that you asked me, but just because it doesn't resonate with my spirit. I don't have the energy to give. It does not bring me joy. And I would not be giving in a unconditional or in a divinely inspired way, or not in a heart-centered way. So they want you to really start to be dead honest with yourself about what makes you happy, how you want to be seen, felt, and perceived, how you want to be treated in return, and because that's also what's going to bolster you in like this time of transformation that you're going through. You have to, and because it's the Fool card, they're telling me also that it's a time of familiarizing yourself with yourself, time of getting to know yourself again. And you deserve that time from yourself, that you know who you are and you can, right? So they're pointing me to this version of the Strength card. It's like, you know this side of yourself, you know the lion side of yourself, and you know the lamb. You need to know all aspects of yourself so that when you go out into the world, go out into these collective situations and you assert yourself or stand in your own power and authenticity, that you can teach people how to honor you because you have done the work of honoring yourself. The chameleon looks in all directions before moving. This is key 7. This is the Chariot. And this is coming over your rebirth and strength and transparency. Yeah, look all over. Look in all directions. Look in your heart. Look in your mind. Look in the back of your closet. Look everywhere for signs of for what needs to go, what can stay, and what you should learn. Like once you drop the blame and the victim mentality, then comes the lessons. That's all they want me to say about that. I'm going to pull your oracles. They don't want the elemental oracle today for you, Virgo North Node. I'm going to go straight to The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. It's a very lovely oracle deck. They read in the upright and the reverse. So there are many possible messages with this deck. Let's see. Full moon. Unfinished Symphony, number 10. They're telling me that there's another one in here for you. There's 2. Ooh, there's 3. Is there 3? No. 17, the Fates. Or, hold on, let me just see what they want me to do with this card that flew out. Okay, they want me to save it until the end, and I'll guide you as to what we're going to do with that one. And I'm going to take the Return of Spirit, but they're not wanting that either. Okay, so you got 2 oracles, plus we have a little bonus card that we're going to do at the end for if there's a question that you have in your mind that hasn't seemed to be addressed by this reading, then we're going to do it at the end with that random card that they threw out for you. So, Unfinished Symphony in the upright. I will just read from the book, and if any messages come to me while I'm reading, then I'll let you know when I'm done reading the page. Number 10, Unfinished Symphony. Essential meanings: unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. This is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur, and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. So, yeah, taking stock of forgiving, releasing people from blame, and finding the lessons. This is the Unfinished Symphony. And it's coming, they want me to point out that it's right near this world card that came out for you about closing the chapter with forgiveness and acceptance of what happened and learning and taking what you can as lessons from it. They want me to read the relationship message on this as well because there's somebody who needs it. So the relationship message is: moving on is difficult when love lingers. Things are left unsaid and you haven't had the opportunity for closure in your relationship and in your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are, make amends if need be, and declare your feelings, even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved, and close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then can new love blossom. I think there's nothing more to say about that card. I'm going to go to number 17, the Fates. Okay, fate, karma, acceptance that there are things that you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. The oracle message is: the serenity prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in the Serenity Prayer. And the relationship message: other people are who they are. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is the time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view of how they should be, so you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. What if who they are and whatever is happening between you and them in this situation is perfect from the perspective of spirit? Now is the time to accept what you cannot change, even if it means that you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on. Love unconditionally, for each of us is on our own journey, and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship is indeed fated, and you are meant to evolve into a better version of yourself as a result. I don't have anything to say about that one. I think it sums up everything very perfectly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a little bit of time. I have this card here that fell out, and they would like me to give you the opportunity to ask a question about whatever topic. Doesn't have to do with this reading at all. But it's for Virgo North Node. Ask whatever question you like, and then I'll give you your answer. So let's take a few deep breaths together, and I'll give you that time for that question to arise in your heart. Another deep breath in. Last one. So I hope you have your question and you've said it in your mind or out loud. If you haven't yet, just pause this video and come back when you are ready. And I will read you the answer now. The answer here is card number 6. Not for you. And they want me to remind you that 6 showed up in your reading here as the 4 of Cups plus the 2 of Cups. And the transformation card was also number 42, 4 plus 2. Which is 6. So, not for you, in the upright. Okay, the essential meaning. A clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. And the oracle message is, there are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. It's as if you don't really get to be in the game, and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you are not going to attain what you want right now. That indeed your dreams for the exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. Yeah, so they're pointing to me just to remind you before we close here, or as we close here. The 4 and the 2 equaling 6. The 4 is like, you can mourn the things that you wanted that didn't show up for you the way that you wanted to. But the 2 of Cups, something much more fulfilling, much more in balance for you, is why they're denying you what it is you asked for. They're just protecting you from, going down a path that's not really going to serve you that great, And that's it. Virgo North Node, thank you so much for hanging out with me for an hour. It's always nice to have you around, and it's nice to have your peeps here giving messages. I'm always honored to relay those messages to you for your highest good. I wish you all the best for, the full moon that's coming up and all the way into November 3rd. So I plan on uploading again for the new moon in November, which is my regular schedule. So I hope you enjoyed this full moon reading. And until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Till next time.